just to be more like me. You would face my failure. How could that ever set you free? But I would not hesitate one moment to turn your head and change your point of view. All I really want is to see you be more like you. More like you. If I could see you rise, if I could see you stand, if I could see you knocking at the door. It's choices that have paved your troubled pathway, led you like the blind and left you lame. You give yourself a free pass as you so quickly spread the blame. It cannot be too late to win the high ground. You have so much to give, so much to gain. Will you stand and fight now? Will you turn and face your pain? I can see you rise up, I can see you standing, I can see you knocking at the door. I can see you smiling, I can see you laughing, I can see you're meant for so much more. So much more. You break, but you will not bend. Why must this be? Come back and live again. Your year of jubilee. Still I would not hesitate one moment to turn your head and change your point of view. All I really want is to see you be more like you. All I really want is to see you be more like you. All I really want is to see you be more like you. More like you. So much more. More like you. So much more. More like you.
Song number 3 right here on MSI. Hope the guys and everybody out there in our audience enjoyed that. Let's go straight to Paul. Paul Miro, what do you think? Song number 3.
Really like that. I really did. There were, again, I think back to that world of it not being a completed mix. I think we got problems with kind of overdoing it on the guitar. Although it's a guitar-led track, I think perhaps ought to save the the more intricate stuff to slightly later in the track. I think from the mix point of view, it's at the perfect level near the intro, but when the actual solo comes in, it's almost as if it needed to be turned up again, and the guitar starts getting a little bit dominant towards the end. Vocals, really like most of the vocal delivery, apart from in the first verses where it sounds a bit uncertain. But he's got a very interesting voice. The overall sound, I don't know, it almost had with the fretless bass and things, it had a kind of Joni Mitchell kind of vibe, which is no problem with me whatsoever. I think it would be a really great live, sort of chilled out background album. It sounds like a coffee table sort of album, but I think it's one that girls would like a lot because of the subject matter, and it's kind of in that David Gray area of songs where it's a little bit vulnerable. I think if the production was a little bit more lush, things like the drums in there, they sound a bit cardboard boxy, that demo studio thing again. Everyone plays really well. There's some really good performance going on there. Really like the arrangement. I just think it's minor tweaks and getting a really good mix on that. And yeah, definitely my favorite track of the night.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Let's go to Ian, find out what he thought. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah. Interesting, Paul should say Joni Mitchell, really, because I was sort of thinking sort of James Taylor, sort of Steely Dan, that sort of American 70s troubadour, American songwriter sort of feel. I actually liked the acoustic work on this. I actually really liked it. I thought they were blended quite well. I agree, it got a bit domineering towards the end. The acoustic bass was a really, really nice touch, and the performance and that was fantastic as well. Really did like that. Drums, I felt they fitted the song. They were a bit boxy, but I think for the genre of what it was going for, that sort of 70s sound, I think that worked for me. My issue again is the vocal delivery. I agree it got a bit better towards the end, but it was very flat on performance. This guy's got an interesting voice. Yeah. He's got some interesting lyrics going on there as well, and but I don't feel he delivered as well as he could. Nice to hear it was natural. Nice to hear there was no auto-tune on there, and he just left it as was. I'd much prefer to hear that than I would a heavily auto-tuned vocal. So that was fine. But just more work on that performance there, I think, and this would be a great song. Dynamically good, arrangement great. Yeah, so far my favourite as well.
All right, appreciate it, Ian. Tom, your head is on hands clasped. Does that mean anything, or are you just happy to see us? What do you think of song number 3?
Well, I honestly can't see Paul's problem with the mix or the drum sound. I like the way everything sounds, the vocal performance aside, and the fact that I agree with them that, you know, as the song got on, he got a little too busy on the guitar. The levels, you could hear everything throughout everything. I think, I mean, the mix sounded, it needs to be mastered. That's what I think it needs, a good mastering job. Some slight percussion, some slight compression will make things pop a little bit more, quite possibly even bring the lead up and give him a little shove, which he needs. But, I mean, I really like the sounds of everything, and everybody played excellently. I especially like the sparsity of the drums. They were very early solo sting. Yeah, Joni Mitchell comes to mind. James Taylor, not so much, but yeah, in that area. But like I said, I really didn't have such a big problem with the overall sound. It just needs to be mastered professionally. And
go ahead.
Outside of that, I think we all agree that this is, you know, the best one sounding and the best one that, you know, I mean, as far as commerciality, number 2 and number 3 go back and forth. I think if it wasn't for the female's vocal performance on one of the other songs, I think it was the first one or the second one, I forget.
Are you already getting ahead of everybody else and going on a song of the week or song of the week kind of thing?
Well, I mean, everybody else has said they liked it. The
Well,
best, that's what I'm agreeing.
I need to introduce it if you're going to go ahead for the song of the week.
Well, I didn't officially put my thumb on it and brand it as a song.
Well, I got to razz you about something this week. I mean, after all, you spend 5 days in hospital. You expect to be razzed about something.
Well, this is true. It's something my nurse might like while I was spanking her, but, you know.
Well, let me go ahead and introduce that song, and then we'll get to you guys on your selection of Song of the Week. The song you just listened to, however, was called So Much More from Scott Carmichael. And Scott, by the way, I know is from iCompositions.com. And again, the song called So Much More from Scott Carmichael. Now, gentlemen, the task that Tommy is already started, the Song of the Week selection. I leave it to you to discuss it. Tommy, we'll let you start since you already did.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. I got to go with number 3. It just needs to be mastered professionally by a really good mastering engineer, and I think everybody's qualms and problems with it would go away.
Okay.
Or be less, if not go away. It'd be a lot less.
All right, Ian, Paul?
I've got to agree with Tom. It's got to be number 3.
Yeah, definitely number 3. Redo the vocals, get someone in to get the guy feeling a little bit more broken and vulnerable, so he's delivering it with a little bit more edginess. And I know Tommy doesn't think so, but I still think mix tweaks, mastering. If you're going to master it, you're going to end up with the drums sounding louder, and it's going to bring the guitars out even more. So I think mix tweaks, redo the vocals, and it's the winner.
All right. Go ahead, Tommy. I'm
Break
sorry.
guitarist hands so he sings with more angst.
Yeah. Not maybe angst. I don't think angst is perhaps. I'm just thinking more like, I mean, it's a bad example because this guy's a much better singer, but the kind of Damien Rice world where he's sounding a little bit fraught and these hearts on his sleeve. Not the angst that if you don't come out with me, I'm going to kill your mother. I just think that's sort of just a little bit more like he means it totally. That's all. I think it's just working with someone to get him in that zone. He's got a great voice, so
All right.
Well, you can always reproduce. Vocals are, very subjective, but I can agree with you on that. I mean, you've got to really produce a vocal. You really got to know it, and you can't let anybody slide by and call it in. If they don't feel it could be a money thing because maybe that's all the time they had.
All right. So I'm hearing from you guys song number 3 then, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry to waffle on so much. Yeah. With all your clocks.
All right, song number 3, Scott Carmichael's So Much More is our song of the week this week. Tune in again next week, everybody. We hope to do it all over again. Ian, who is our guest panelist next week?
I'm just checking that very fact. I think it's John, isn't it?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
I'm just checking as we speak, Rich. just to be sure.
All right.
Yeah, it's John Hodgson from G4 Software and other projects.
All right. Sounds great. Looking forward to that. Hope everybody joins us for that show. Paul, I want to thank you for being with us this week. We really appreciate the fact you joined us once again. Glad I got to see that uke, too. Now,
yeah, that was the highlight of the evening.
I love ukes. I've got 3 of them.
Yeah?
So, I'm just, anytime anybody gets a uke, it's like having a new baby for me,
Yeah. They're kind of like guitars for Prince, aren't they? It's just like...
It's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what Prince has got to feel like when he gets out a Les Paul, especially made for Prince.
So we appreciate the fact you were here. Hope to see you, see a new album. You're going to have to let us know when you get the music released, and that way we can make sure everybody buys a copy of it.
That'd be a bonus, yeah.
Yeah, and
can you make sure you've got 500,000 subscribers by then? Because that'd be really totally radical. I'd really like that.
we're working on it. We're working on it. You can find out more about Paul, his music, and where he's playing at paulmiro.com. So head over there and check it out most definitely. Paul, thanks again, my friend. We really appreciate it. Ian, Tom.
Great talking to you.
Thanks to both of you guys as well, and everybody out in our audience. We appreciate it. Hope to see you again next week when we do this all again with more new music from who knows where. Could be your music we'll listen to next week. You never know, right here on MSI. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hope to see you next time.